Back from nowhere. It's the Expat Brat podcast. You're listening to Salman Qureshi. I love saying my own name like that, like it's a big deal. I think I've done it at a show where they didn't have an announcer on the side and it just said, "Could you just announce yourself on?" And it was quite embarrassing to stand there and go, "All right, guys, coming up, it's Salman Qureshi." And then I walked on, and they kind of realized as soon as I started speaking that the voice was the same. Anywho, embarrassments aside, it's all in the past, just like last year, and we're into 2023. It's happening. I'm geared up to release a lot of episodes. I've got a few things brewing, and I'm excited, man. I have in a few days. I'm opening for Ismo. He's a Finnish comedian, really amazing act, very talented, very funny, and I might, if we get time, I'll definitely put him on the clip on our Instagram when we meet. But we have back-to-back shows on the same date, so it might get hectic. However, this guy's a legend. There's this competition that was held once by the Laugh Factory, and he won. It was the world's funniest person competition, and he came first place. So he doesn't need my approval. A lot of people have given them that approval. He's been on late night shows and whatnot. He's toured America quite a lot, and I'm excited, because just talking to comics who really polish their acts up, it gives you great insight. As someone who's rough around the edges and someone who's a little lazy, to be honest, I know that I I often let jokes come to me rather than trying to find the jokes, and that's just a lazy way of being a stand-up comic, and it doesn't work long term. Anywho, it'll be cool. It's if you're in Dubai, it's on January 22nd. The evening show is already sold out. The guy's super pop here, and but there is a 5:30 show that they've just put on. Like I said, it's two shows on the same night. That will be awesome. So come down for that if you haven't. This isn't an ad. I just think it'll be a pretty good show. So one not to miss. Great way to start your year, I suppose, with a bit of laughter. I'm opening for him, and I've also got a good friend and comic with me. He's hosting the night. It's local Emirati comic Abs Ali, who who started comedy around the same time I did 10 years ago, roughly, more than 10 years ago. And I remember he's always been one of my favorites because I remember watching the first time and going, wow, that's great material. He's so good on stage. And, every so often, these comics do a joke and you're like, God damn it, I wish I had thought of that. How did I not do that? How I know that. That's a joke that was in my head and I didn't put it on stage like he did. And he was one of the first comics where I had that experience a few times, and I just thought, wow, the guy's great, and he's only been getting better. So I'm really psyched about the night, and it's gonna be cool. Putting aside that, I do have a new show written, and I'm excited to start touring it. But it's gonna be a little later in the year. Got a couple of things in the first 2-3 months that, man, it's hectic already, isn't it? Honestly, I'm like looking at this year and going, oh God, I've got like things to do, so many things to do at so many intervals that I'm already like, I can't wait for December to finish it all up. It's exciting. 90% of that stuff is like stuff I want to do, and it sounds cool. I'm also traveling to Algeria, so right the next day after the Ismo gig, I'm off. I'm flying to Algeria, and that's going to be quite fun. It's not a stand-up comedy tour. It's a bit of work, but I've never been there, and it sounds kind of cool, exciting. I don't know much about Algeria. I tried Googling some stuff, and I think they're kind of overshadowed a little by Morocco, I suppose. But the capital, some of the pictures look interesting. The people seem nice. Um, I'm kind of like wondering what it'll actually be like. I know they speak a lot more French over there as well, but I think English is still common too, if I'm not mistaken. Anywho, I'm gonna do some clips on the travel bit. So if you're not following me on Instagram, I'm at SalmanZQ. That's where I post all the comedy shows and all these travel like vlogging kind of stuff. And Expat Brat podcast has its own Insta page, but I really just keep it for the podcast and the episode releases. So it's not as active, but I do have some plans this year as well for that stuff too. So it just sounds already like a lot I want to get done, and I'm excited about it, but at the same time like freaking out because I'm like I gotta hit the road running, and so far I'm just like looking at my shoes going, it'd be nice to lace that up. And I am literally at the race, sorry, not at the race, I'm at the lacing up bit because my wife and I, we took the opportunity for my nanny to, because she's not around, to really do a spring cleaning ourselves, mainly because we know the stuff that we can just throw away. I know our nanny, like, she might be a little bit more worried about throwing things away or cleaning up. She's very organized. But at the end of the day, we got to make those calls. And man, it's been tough. Yeah, it's spring cleaning or winter cleaning or New Year's cleaning. I'll call it my New Year's cleaning. I want to make this a ritual every year. It's been really great to just throw so much stuff away and clear up my closet and organize it better. And already, like, it just makes your mind so much more clear. Like, I had like spider webs in there, and I'm just like, it's like a bunch of spider webs all over my house. And I've literally just, it feels like I've just taken, like swiped through it, and there's still some left, but the majority's like clearing up. And with it, like, I feel better. Like, it just, it's awesome. I've been off coffee a little bit for a while. I've had a couple of coffee cups here and there, but largely I'm off it. Man, I had a habit of having a coffee as soon as I woke up, as soon as I got somewhere, and then leisurely a couple of times. So 4 or 5 cups of coffee a day were like, nothing to me. And not having that, I've realized I'm less jittery. And I think it's age, right? So coffee never affected me before, or maybe I wasn't conscious of it. But the last year, I used to start feeling quite anxious and jittery, and just like, like my body was like, I need to do something. And no coffee has really calmed me down. Who would have thought that, right? Who would have thought if I'd listened to everything people have been saying about coffee, I would have been better off. I still miss it, and I like a good cup of coffee, so I will sneak it here and there. But overall, dependency was something I wasn't happy about, and overdoing it, obviously, the overindulgent has gone. So it's good. I'm feeling great. I feel super positive about 2023. I really do. It just feels, I'm really excited. I feel like I know what I want to do. I'm more clear than usual. I think as a family, I've been loving it, with my wife and my kid, and things coming into place, and us just working together feels really great. My wife, like I've said it a million times on my podcast, she's just such a great person. I feel super lucky to have her as my partner, because she just adds so much to my life. I can't imagine it without her. Like, I would hate my life without it, without her. And my kiddo's growing up, his autism, we're kind of getting hold of it, and he's doing well. He started saying sentences now. It's really exciting. He's doing well in school. He loves it, and all of that is feeling good. I do have to warn you, if you're listening to me, last time I felt this positive and this gung ho about getting things done was in January 2020. All right, so no need to panic. I think that was a once in a lifetime kind of thing, but it did. It did. I'm naturally, I start like erring towards being positive, and sometimes I've hated myself for that because I've just been like, as you grow older, you just like, not to turn into a pessimist, but just have reality checks every so often. I'm the kind of person who will be like, hey, look, my cards look good, I'm all in, And a few times I've gone, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Should not have done that, as they swipe all the poker chips away from my side of the table. It just feels really bad. But that, I think by nature I'm like that. So even when I'm down, or I'm not happy about things for a little bit, it's this automatic needle of mine that starts shifting towards that side, and I just naturally fall back into that side. And I guess that's what's, I don't know if a lot of people are like that or not. I am, and it feels great. I've had a great last year. I've had, I've done all sorts of jobs and work and interesting projects. And I want to do more and some things different as well. I did, so between you and me, right? So I did apply for this job that came out. One of my friends said, I don't know why I did it. I'm not looking for a job per se. And it came up and I did it, and I was like, my friend told me about it, and I was like, you know what, this sounds interesting. It's to do with my field, with content and entertainment and stuff. So I was like, why not? And the company, so I, I had to kind of take off the cobwebs off my resume as well and bring it to 2023 standards, which was embarrassing and difficult, and especially considering I used to work in HR, right? So I know what good resumes should look like, and I've advised people on it, and they've thanked me later for it too, going, "Hey, thank you for doing that. It helped me get the job, get the interview." Anyway, I do all that. I send it across, and in an hour, I get a reply from them, and it's a rejection letter. And I'm like, "Wow, how bad was my resume?" Firstly, for them to reject it that bad so quickly. Um, I tell myself it's probably a couple of reasons, like I didn't fit the role properly, or there were a couple of things that I didn't really have experience in. But rejection that fast, I don't think girls have rejected me that fast in a club, I just, it was kind of like, did they read it? They couldn't have read it in this much time. I'm guessing if you're a modern recruiter, I'm guessing this is some AI tech which kind of just sifts through. I mean, it was a tech company, a huge tech company, and they sift through the resume, look for keywords, and reject in and how do you pronounce it, in mass, um, any resume that doesn't have enough of those keywords, and I regret that now. But I think it was like a good thing, because I'm just like, okay, that's done. I know that's not what's written for me for this year. I went back to going, these are my goals. So that's not a bad thing. Like I said, I'm super excited. I want to tour more countries with this new show than I've ever done before, and that's what's exciting me. I want to do more digital content creation, and I'm already kind of working with friends and have a few things in place. So that's exciting me as well. I want to explore further things, and most of all, I want to improve myself, right? So again, if you listen to my podcast, I struggle with my weight and health, and this year it's going to be different. Okay, it's going to be different. It's going to be different, like how my voice just became different. I know I'm just more gung ho about it this year as well. I'm just more focused, and it feels good. My head's so clear. It's crazy. Last year I had LASIK surgery, eye surgery, and I feel like this year I've already had like a brain surgery, which has made my brain vision better. And that's something. I've been eating less meat as well. I don't know if that helps. I I admire some vegans because of the reasons they tell me about caring for animals and stuff. I'm nowhere near to doing that, but just reducing meat intake has also helped me quite a bit. I like the balance I have. I've kind of added a few fruits and vegetables, and this isn't a New Year's resolution kind of thing. I've been doing this for a little while, and it's been carrying on, so a couple of months now, and it feels better, man. It feels a lot lighter. I'd recommend it to everyone. They year on year they always say the same thing. They vote the Mediterranean diet as the healthiest and the best diet for people, and that diet has a lot of nuts and vegetables in it, with fish and meat, but a lot less. And I naturally have kind of tried going towards that sort of diet, and like I said, it makes me feel great. So that's definitely helped. Like I said, the coffee thing has helped quite a bit. I think I've been trying to get better sleep as well. I don't think the quality of my sleep is great, but I've definitely tried getting in 8 hours a night, and that definitely has helped. Uh, it just readies you up and energizes you to get more stuff done. right? So that's the stuff. But I was talking about cleaning up the house. Here are a couple of things I would immediately tell everyone to do. I think, firstly, everyone needs to do it. I cannot, unless you're the most ruthless person in the world who just throws away something instantly when it's not needed, blah, 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 then you don't need to listen to it. But the rest of us, we live with other people, there are families and stuff, and all of us in some capacity, as like a big blob, just start absorbing and keeping more and more stuff together. Some of this stuff not being used for a couple of years, for God's sake. And so, firstly, recognize that you have a lot of stuff in your house, and clearing that up just creates this space that feels so much better. It just gives you room to breathe in. Like, I don't know, just my brain feels more clear because the outside clutter is less. So that's something you all need to do. Second, attack it in small bits. My wife and I, classic mistake, went all in, and now like the house looks a bit messy, or looked a bit messy for a while. But as we're like chunking and clearing it away, every bit that's clearing up just feels more and more nice, and feels like you can start organizing it again. And obviously, keeping this kind of pace through the year is not possible, or this kind of amount of organization and keeping things clean and clear and throwing away junk. But at least it sets you up for the year, right? I'm hoping to maybe do a mini one midway, maybe in the summer. But if worst case scenario, January has become my designated cleanup month for the rest of my life, hopefully. All right, so that's the intention. So definitely attack bits. We attacked Zayan's toys first, toys and books, because they were the biggest thing. We're like, if he's not, and that was hard because that's very emotional. They were, I was more like strong about it. I was like telling my wife, no, we're gonna go after this. We're gonna throw away everything he's not playing with, blah blah blah. And then when it happened, and I saw him looking through at the stuff and looking at us doing it, I kept so much more. And my wife was like, no, we can throw this. This is broken. This can be given away. He does not touch this one. And I was like, but he's looking at it now. So that was possibly the hardest one. It was good to get that done. Then we attacked our individual stuff, like general household stuff. Then I went through my closet, man, my books and my closets. And again, the clothes thing, for some reason, people have a hard time throwing away or passing on clothes. I do, at least, because there's some things that don't fit me properly, and I've hung on to it. And I'm just like, I got to put a sticker on and go, hey, if it crosses this time limit, with a tag, like this is the date I put it on. And if it crosses this timeline, this amount of time, then it has to go. I didn't lose my enough weight. It's got to go. Replace it with something you can wear right now. But some of it is so good that you just hold on. So clothes will give you a hard time. I think what helped us also, another tip was, because my wife and I were working, we kind of bounced off our stuff off each other, and even Zayan stuff, like I said, because we just kind of went, hey, you think so? Yes, no. And we were pushing each other a little bit. So that helped us clear more space than usual than we would have, for sure. And just made it a lot more easier. So like I said, if you can get someone in with you, there are loads of professionals doing it now too. I don't know how much they charge. I think I do have a kind of a Twitter friend who's Dubai based that she does it. And at one point I was thinking of reaching out, but we just kind of got into it. And maybe at some point I might bring in someone professional as well to have a look and go, do it this way. But the other reason I haven't done it is because although we're staying one more year in this current apartment, we've made a promise to ourselves to go. We're going to move after this year. The rents have been rising a lot, so I kind of held on to like let's save a little bit more this year. I like having some savings, man. That's one of the things that I really enjoyed from last year, and so I want to keep that going for another year. But because my intention is to get out of this apartment, we've done a decent enough organizing and clean up ourselves. I think when I do move in, I'll get some insight, some help from the other person, and see how that goes, because that should be helpful, and that might be worth the money. So definitely doing that. And I'd recommend that too. Anything else I can think of? No, I think. I think those are the key points, just chunk it away, be ruthless, and whatever it is, you can eventually replace it or whatever anyway, right? So just keep going, bury it away, man. Uh, and I've done a lot of self-organizing in like shelves help so much. What is this podcast about, man? This is like about cleaning up, I guess, decluttering. Shelves helped me a lot, just putting things in, and that gives you a bit more like vertical space to play with. Especially if you like a lot of modern apartments are so small that these kind of like vertical things help, like organizers behind the door, behind the closet door, just added so many more places where I could organize things more clearly. One of the key things I did keep in mind was that when I was doing it, what my intention is, and I think that's something you should think about, is as I was doing it, all I was thinking was, hey, I don't want things packed away. I want things, because if they're packed away, unless they're absolutely necessary or something like winter clothes that I won't use till, but I do need it after a while. I was just like, if it's not accessible, it's forgotten and not used. And so I kind of want like a more accessible kind of organized way, and that helped me put things in reachable positions, and I can just see it. So that definitely was something I kept in mind as well, and that has helped me a lot. So those are my adventures for the year. Just a lot of planning and strategizing, and dreaming. I think it's important to dream, and this year I've just been dreaming a lot about traveling, doing a lot of different projects, putting on great shows, and I'm excited to present it to you guys. So keep in touch, keep following me as well, because I'm going to put all this stuff out very soon. Get yourself organized as well, man. It's a good time. Things usually are a little slow at the beginning of the year. Use that time to just settle in, make yourself comfortable. It's kind of like pulling the spring back to release it, so you go full mode like a pinball machine. If you didn't understand what I was saying, did that make sense? Okay, cool. Anyway, thanks guys for listening. I'm gonna be back more soon with many more episodes, lots of stuff. So do keep following. Leave a rating on Apple Podcasts if you listen to us on that. Listen to us. Listen to me. And tell me a little bit about guests you might want me to invite, because that's one of the things I'm going to try doing this year as well. And your comments and sharing of the episodes helps a lot. I love you guys for listening. It's been really fun last year building up this fan base and friends who are listening to the podcast. So keep doing that. I appreciate it. And take care. And goodbye, or as a dog would say, woof.